Have you ever found yourself in a situation when you have multiple tabs open, Slack messages are blinking, calendar is full, and it feels like true progress? Everybody talks about multitasking like it's a skill, except it is not. You're not doing more work. You're just splitting your focus thinner. Every switch, Slack, code, messages, emails, cuts the thread that deep work depends on. At first, it feels productive, but it's just motion. You end the day tired when nothing really moved. By the end of the day, I'd look back and realize I didn't get interrupted by distractions. I interrupted myself hundreds of times. After looking back at how I worked, it became clear. I wasn't losing time to pings or messages. I was losing time every time I switched contexts. Let me tell you about one sprint where I had to juggle multiple projects, so I constantly switched between code, documentation fixes, messages, emails, different meetings. I was busy all day. I felt very responsive, very productive, like I'm on top of everything. But as the deadline got closer, I realized that I hadn't accomplished the things that I planned. And I wasn't slacking off. I was working nonstop, sometimes staying late just to catch up. And when the office got quiet, no meetings, no pings, I finished tasks that had been dragging for weeks. And that's when I realized what was actually slowing me down. It wasn't effort, it was all those little switches in between. I thought I needed better time management, more structure, more systems, but time wasn't the problem. It was constant mental reset, like reloading a project and waiting for the focus to boot back up. I put in the hours, so hard work was not the issue. Staying in it was. And that's where most of us misunderstand productivity. Because context switching feels very productive. You're replying, checking, updating, moving things around, and it feels like progress. Except it's not. It's motion without momentum. You're moving fast, but not forward. Each switch is forcing your mind to rebuild the thread that you just broke. What you worked on, why it mattered, and what comes next. And that rebuild costs more than just time. It costs rhythm. That kind of rhythm that makes the work flow instead of stall. You finish the day exhausted, but not because you worked too hard, but because you never stayed in one lane long enough to actually finish anything. And when that becomes normal, focus starts to feel impossible. You start to think that your brain cannot stay with one thing anymore. But in reality, it's just been trained to constantly restart. For a long time, I thought that I just needed to try harder. But focus isn't only about discipline. It's also how your brain rewards attention. Each time we switch tasks, check a message, open a new tab, refresh the email, the brain releases dopamine, the chemical that rewards novelty and reinforces habits. That tiny spark feels good, like something's happening, even when nothing meaningful moves forward. The brain learns fast. When it keeps getting rewarded for every small switch, it starts craving that pattern, that quick hit of change instead of slower satisfaction of progress. That's why staying with one thing starts to feel harder over time. The brain adapts to constant motion and it starts to expect it. And switching also comes at a cognitive cost. Every time your attention shifts, part of your working memory has to reload the contacts that you just left. The recovery takes milliseconds, seconds, sometimes minutes. And it quietly drains the energy needed for deeper thinking. So focus does not disappear. It just gets buried under the habit of switching. After that, I stopped trying to force focus. What finally worked wasn't the effort, it was changing how my day was built. I started shaping my schedule so focus could happen naturally. Instead of jumping between tasks, I started grouping similar ones together. Mornings turned into deep work times. Writing, coding, creating. Afternoons became space for collaboration. Messages, meetings, feedback. That one shift, working by context instead of urgency, saved me hours of recovery each week. So focus doesn't come from willpower. It grows out of how you design your day. I tried making existing tools work, calendars, to-do lists, timers, but they all treat tasks the same. Like your energy and attention level never changes throughout your day. So I built something that adapts, a workspace that matches how I actually work. Place to plan, shift different focus modes, and stay with one thing long enough to finish. That's how Flodora started. Not just another time tracker, but a way to make staying focused feel natural again. Most days, your energy and attention levels are not the same from morning to night. Some hours call for deep work, others for collaboration or quick wins. I wanted a workspace that could match that, so you can use the right method for the kind of focus that you actually have. And when my schedule started matching my flow, work stopped feeling like resistance. The day ended with clarity instead of exhaustion. Focus isn't control, it's continuity, learning to protect the rhythm of your own mind. The noise never really disappears. You just start to recognize when it deserves your attention and when it doesn't. We don't lose focus in one big moment. It slips away in pieces. A quick check, a thought left unfinished, a small switch that breaks the flow. But when you hold on to that thread a little longer, something shifts. Deep work starts to happen. Real progress begins. If it spoke to you, hit like and subscribe. We'll keep building better focus together. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.